Can we start with the salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the Qur'an. Show some enthusiasm. Okay, cool. Right, we talked a little bit about journaling. You've got the introduction to journaling. You should have some pencil colors, a ruler, an eraser, some stickers. It's like going back to school again in September. What you get for your kids, you get for yourself, okay? You know the color directory, we've gone through it. Otherwise, go through it again through whatever. Now, Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah number 1. Fatiha means opening. Focus. Come on, quickly. Summary of the Quran. It should be just coming out like A, B, C, D. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha. That's how quickly, okay? Surah Al-Baqarah. What does Baqarah mean? Cow. Summary of that? History of faith. And you can see it. It's literally one step after the other. Sura Aali Imraan. Establishing a Muslim identity. Now, Aali Imraan, Al means, it doesn't necessarily mean family. It's related to, okay? So Al is sort of, you can say, the family of Imran. I know that's how it's translated it, or related to Imran. There were 2 Imrans. One Imran was the father of Musa. And one Imran was the father of Maryam. Right? So you had father of Musa and father of Maryam. Are you good? 1800 years between them. I repeat again, 1800 years between them. This is talking about the father of Sayyidah Maryam. And before she was born, he died. Read about him, but just so you know, Aali Imraan. So you know this is establishing a Muslim identity. Now we started off with this. We did Ayah 8, we did 16, we did Ayatul Shahada, we did Ayatul Mulk, and we sort of came here, if you remember. This is where I stopped. This is basically Ayah number 37. And in your stickers, you've got some fruits. Not necessarily in the Quran, but in the Hadith, it says fruits. Fruits out of season. So what happens? Okay, let's have a look. فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولِ حَسَنٍ. So when Sayyidah Maryam's mom, whose name was Hannah, when Hannah gives birth to Sayyidah Maryam, oh my goodness, I was expecting a son. Because at that time, even as today, there's no president of London Jamaat who's a woman yet, okay? So just like there was this thing about women not being allowed into the holy places as such. So she's absolutely sure, she's done this nazar that God will give me a son. No, I was a daughter. She says, yeah, Allah, that's a son. That's a daughter. It's not a son. And obviously, Quran says, he says, I know. I gave it to you, right? So if you look at it, she's given her daughter, Zachariah, and you can read the story later. But Allah says he accepted her. So first of all, there's no such thing as gender discrimination. That's the first thing this tells you. The next thing it says, وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا. Nabatan hasana means, although she was in her room on her own, and all these male chauvinists around her, sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but that's exactly how it was. She was happy. Nabatan hasana means she had a good growing up. It wasn't like, oh God, I'm all on my own. Nothing like that. She had a good growing up. وَكَفَّلَهَا Zakaria. Zakaria kept on looking after her. كُلَّمَا دَخَلَ عَلَيْهَا Zakaria al-mihrab. Whenever Zakaria came to check upon her, وَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا رِزْقًا. Now, rizq does not necessarily mean just food. He found her happy, he found her okay, she liked her own company, and she had fruits out of season. Now, fruits out of season today may be okay because you may have all the stuff put in the fruits and all the rest of it, and they can make it in whatever way they want. At that time, and even today, if you want organic fruits, there have to be fruits into season, okay? So he said, قَالَ يَا مَرْيَمْ, oh Maryam, أَنَّ لَكِ هَذَا. Where did this come from? And she doesn't fluster. She said, قَالَتْ وَمِنْ إِنْدِ اللَّهِ. This is from Allah. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit in a minute. And she said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Who is she talking to? A prophet. She's talking to Zakaria. Who is Zakaria? He's a scholar of the Bani Israel, is he not? He's a scholar. He talks to them. He's the one who tells people to do things. Yet the humility of the person is that the moment Maryam, a young child, a young girl as such, tells him that Allah gives you rizq from wherever He wants. Hunalika, and Allah uses this beautiful word. There and then da'a Zakaria rabbahu. Zakaria does dua to his Rabb. There and then. Who is Zakaria? Who knows it all. But in front of him, there's a young girl who says, Allah gives whenever and wherever He wants. A hadith. Whenever you cry, even if you're crying for a worldly matter, sit down and raise your hands in dua. You know when you read in Majalis, that when you sit on this farsh, and you have the tears of Imam Hussein, raise your hands. Now I'm a Koji, okay? So Koji's got dua like this. Raise your hands up there and ask, no? You're sitting in a lesson with Qur'an, are you not? All of us are here doing Qur'an. It is a time to ask. So he says, look what he says. He's 90. Qala, Rabbi habli min ladunka dhurriyatan tayyiba. A 90-year-old is asking for hiba. Hiba is a gift. He says, God, gift me with dhurriyatan tayyiba. A child or a progeny that is good. And he's talking about a wife who's never had a child. She couldn't have children. He's asking for the impossible. Innaka sami'ud du'a. There is no way you and I can say that something is impossible when you read this. For 1 minute, think. The difference between me and Zakaria is that Zakaria believed. He knew that there would be an answer. By the way, no is an answer as well. But he believed there would be an answer. Innaka sami'ud du'a. The idea of you highlighting this, and by the way, in 38 you put that little cradle with that little baby in, and in 37 you put the fruit, so you immediately remember fruits out of season, and when you see the cradle, I mean, God will, if God didn't grant him a child like that, He would have granted him madrasa and workshop with so many children to come to, right? I'm hoping all of you will come. So, this is basically what this is talking about. Are you good? The impossible, if you want to make it possible, it is still there. There is an opportunity. You're not saying, God, make me 6 feet tall. He's not going to do that. Okay? Or, you know what I mean. But this is a possibility. It is there. The moment you see a possibility, but you think it's impossible, use this dua, 337 and 338. It's not only for people who want children. It really isn't. It's literally finding, when you see I don't know, it's autumn, leaves fall. When you see spring, leaves come up. Or anything miraculous that you see, do dua using this wasila. Use the wasila of Zakaria, okay? Right, 43. Ya Maryamu qnuti li rabbiki. O Maryam, be obedient to your Rabb. Wasjudi, do sajda. Warqa'i ma'ar raqin. What is highlighted? Ruku. You could do sajda even not in salah. So people do sajda as shukr, don't they? They go straight into sajda. You could stand, you could do qiyam, even when you're standing to do dua. For ziyarah, we stand for qiyam. You could do dua as in kunut any other time except salah. The only thing that differentiates salah from everything else is ruku, is it not? You don't do ruku any other time except in salah. So basically what this ayah is saying, that in Salatul Jama'ah, there is no discrimination against gender, against race, against age, absolutely against nothing. No color, no gender, no nothing. So Salatul Jama'ah is saying, Warqa'i mar raqin. Maryam, pray with people. You and me are told, do ruku with other people. In other words, pray with other people. That is why 1 rak'ah of Salatul Jama'ah is way better than me praying at home on my own with lots of khushu, lots of understanding, and this otherwise. I'd like to tell you this story so you don't forget Salatul Jama'ah. I remember one Salatul Jama'ah when my son he's now 37, I think, when he was about 2 years old, right? So we're all standing in Salatul Jama'ah, in Stanmore down here, by the way, downstairs. So standing in Salatul Jama'ah, and just as we're praying Jama'ah, he says, Mama, it's coming out. Mama, it's coming out. Every single person looked round. The idea is, it shouldn't bother you. It's not you they're calling upon. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to make you remember Salatul Jama'ah. So Salatul Jama'ah, it's not up to you whether somebody moves or somebody doesn't, or unless they're fainting and dying and you need to help them, you just need to maintain your composure. Doesn't matter if somebody's coming out, so what? Their mama's going to look after them. Are you good? Okay, great. Great. You remember this now? And you'll come to Salatul Jummah. And don't let anybody convince you otherwise, that women can't come. And I don't know what they come up with, okay? No. Okay, if you're leaving your young kids at home and you're coming here and they're locked alone at home, it's different. But you're not going to do that, okay? All right, there we go. 354. Now this basically, turn your page, it's on the next page. The history about this talks about the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire at the time of Prophet Isa used to have the Jewish rabbis as their puppets. Now, everybody who does any politics knows about government and how it works, okay? So they used to be their puppets. And they used to work through them. The Roman Empire used to work through them to be able to make all their decisions. Now, that's very trying to make history really short for you. So what they did was, they wanted, one way or the other, they wanted to capture Prophet Isa and they wanted to kill him. So that was their plot. They wanted to do that. But they could only do that, the public would only accept it if you would demonize him somehow. Somehow he had to be demonized. So the Jewish rabbis had to find a way to demonize him, to make sure that he was causing dissent, to be able, for the Roman government to be able to execute him, right? Short story. So here Allah is saying, وَمَكَرُوا, and they will plot. I know this is the translation from the Qur'an. Don't take it. Read listen to what I'm saying. وَمَكَرُوا, they plotted. وَمَكَرَ Allah. Allah plans, they plot. You and I plot, but Allah plans. Are you good? So makara is different. It's different contexts. People plot. Allah always plans. Are you good? So they plotted. Allah plans. Wallahu khairul makirin. And His plan will always, always work. When you are stuck, when you think somebody's working against you, when you think, people come up with these things where they're hocus-pocus, whatever. Somebody's put nudger on you, whatever the case might be. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. Write it down. Keep it with you. Okay, quickly. Am I allowed to take a couple of minutes? Quick. You got to understand. Okay. So I had a close person I knew. So he went through a period of depression, really difficult time, lots of depression. And because he was pretty wealthy, he went to a lot of people who gave him a lot of ta'weezes. You've heard of ta'weez, right? A lot of ta'weezes. So one day he came home from abroad and he said, they've given me all these ta'weezes. Can you look at them? He said, I was told never to open the black cloth. Have you seen them sewn up in a black cloth? Yeah. I said, doesn't matter, let's just open it. We opened it. I tell you this, but God is my witness, half of them were receipts from Tesco or Sainsbury's, and he had paid £500, £600, £700 for this one piece of... Now, maybe they did some writing with their finger. I don't know. Maybe they were saving paper. But there was nothing there. So you want a ta'weez? Recite. You want to carry something? Write this yourself and recite it. Your child's crying a lot at night. You've got insomnia. For example, write Suratul Ghashiyah on white silk. Put it under your pillow. There are so many things, and we'll go over them as we come to them. But this in particular, if you feel that somebody has a bad vibe on you, if you feel somebody's working against you, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُوا Allah, Wallahu khairul makirin. Allah plans, and His plans are the best. Provided you can stand on your musalla and say, I did my best, okay? Oh, I love this, 361. Now today you got some stickers, but you look at the stickers of Nisa, because I'm sorry, the 5 stars are in here, in Nisa. Because I forgot to tell Zara to put them on Aali Imraan. Can you see them? So here is the Ayatul Mubahila. You all know the story, right? You know the story? Or do you want me to tell you the story? Okay, I'll try and cut it down as much as possible. So 9 after Hijrah, the Prophet writes to all these people from all over the world and says, I invite you to Islam. And one of the letters goes to the Christian community of Najran, which is a combination of 72 villages, right? 72 villages. They have 3 main leaders. You don't want to know their names, but I've got their names, Aqib, Abdul Mashi, and Abul Harith. Now, Abdul Harith wanted everybody to accept the Prophet because he had heard him, but they didn't want to. So they decided to send a delegation, and there were 60 people sent to the delegation to meet the Prophet. Now, they came in all their finery, as you know, went to the mosque of the Prophet, and he sat in one corner, and he was a bit sad. And they said, why does he look sad? He said, well, when you come to the mosque, you have to dress simply. So they came back dressing simply, they talked to him, they asked him, and Quran talks about it, they asked about Prophet Isa, and he said, The likeness of Isa is like Adam. Allah has to say kun fayakun, and he is created. So there's no debate over there. So they said, well, you know what? We should have a mubahila. Now, mubahila, it literally means that you bring God into the equation. You and I can have a mubahila. So say we disagree on something, then we say, you know what? I agree to disagree. But if you want to take this further, I will hand it over to God. That's basically what it meant, right? So that particular, going to see the mubahila was going to be at a place outside Medina, and there was going to be, and you probably all know the story because we have Eid al-Mubahila. That night, in the house of Salma, as you all know, you had the incident of Hadithul Kisa. That's why you've got those 5 stars, right? All the kids know about them. So in the Hadithul Kisa, you now know who Ahlul Kisa are. And even as your children are little, I'm sure you did that as well, I was taught that when I was a child. The first thing I was taught to speak or say before I could say anything was, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Ya Fatima, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. And my grandma used to tell me, I don't care what happens to you, that's what you know, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Ya And I remember when I took my first child and she couldn't say it, my grandmother was shocked. And they were like, oh my goodness. She sat with her for a whole day and she kept on telling her, yeah, until my Zara said, Basina, Bas, I can't take anymore, right? But it was literally coming out of her ears. So she could, if you don't know it, you know it now. So they go. So if you can imagine the scene, right? The Prophet in front, Imam Ali at the back. Come on, imagine it. They're walking. They say the Fatima with Imam Hassan and Hussein in the hands. Can you imagine? And they're just walking towards there. And these people come out. You just got to imagine it. That's why God gave you imagination. So these people come out and they see these. And immediately they stop. They say, who are they? They say, it's Muhammad and his daughter and his son-in-law and the children. And he said, if these, Abdul Harith is saying, and all the other people who are there, there are 60 scholars, they say if they were to raise their hands, they would annihilate every single person who did not believe on the earth. So when grandmas teach you this, there is something about it. You all know, li khamsatun utfi biha harra al-wabail, Hatima, al-Mustafa, wal-Murtada, wa-abnahuma, wal-Fatima. And you know, Allahumma inni as'aluka bihaqi Fatima, wa abiha, wa ba'aliha, وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها. There is a secret there that you and I cannot touch. And so they see that and they say, we're not engaging in mubahila at all. So this ayah was revealed when they are told on the night of mubahila, تعالوا come ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم نبتحل فنجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. Again, get stuck. At least you know, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Ya Fatima, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. It's something you've learned from childhood. You look at 5, you know what your 5 means, right? And you know when you bend, you've got 14, right? Oh, come on, count. Okay, there we go. So, 5 stars. You're good with that? Yes, okay. Right, 392. Now, we did 177, Ayatul Bir. Do you remember? Yes? Do you remember I said bir was walking, talking, goodness? Okay, now let's look at this ayah. Lan. Lan is a room which has got 4 walls and there's no way out. Lan literally means there is no choice. You will never, ever, 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 ever tanalul bir. You will never become walking, talking, goodness. Hatta, until. Tunfiku, until you give out, until you spend mimma tahibbun, what you love the most. Prophet Ibrahim, I mean, a son after so long, Ismail. Wasn't easy. Ismail came after such a long time. What did he do? This is his, by the way. He sacrificed his son. Did he not? Agreed. So here, everybody's tuhibbun is different. Everybody has something in them that they love the most. It's up to you. And he says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. Allah knows it. You gotta look within yourself, dig deep, find out what you love the most. Most people, most moms, and I'm making a general opinion, love their kids a lot. And oh my God, when the kids get married, oh God, she's taken him away. Demonized daughter-in-law, demonized the son-in-law, Well, son-in-laws, you kind of respect because you come from an Indian background. But daughter-in-laws, God help them. They're always wrong. Always wrong. Because they've taken away the love of your life. And this ayah is there. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Let go. It's not yours. Whatever you think you love is not yours. It's hard, but hey, okay. Not a talk on mother-in-laws at the moment. I am one, so I'm talking about myself, not you, okay? And I have one son, okay. 396. You good? Good. Turn the page. And hopefully you have a picture of the Kaaba somewhere. And you'll put it in. Yes? إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببقة مباركا وهدى للعالمين. Very simple. The first house appointed which was solely focused on Allah is the Kaaba. And it's hard to go visit the Kaaba. It's quite expensive. It's not easy. Have a Kaaba in your home. Make it out of Lego. Stick it in the place where you're going to pray towards, yes? Ask the children, they'll make it. Okay, you don't want to do Lego? Tissue box, square tissue box, right? Cover it in black, embroider it in gold. Find out what the embroidery has. Do you know what the embroidery is on the Kaaba? Okay, don't tell me, you don't. Find out what was written. What is on each bit? What about that little crack where Imam Ali came in? If you have a model, I don't know whether you have coffee table books. Okay, you don't. Maybe you don't. If you do, have a coffee table Kaaba. It's phenomenal because the children will ask. And whoever comes home will ask, what is that embroidery? Embroider on it, embroidered gold on it. It's beautiful. This is what it's trying to say. Put it in front of you all the time. It doesn't have to be the Kaaba that you're not going to. Inshallah, we will all go one day. Right? We'll all get the opportunity. But when we don't, create one at home. Because it gives its own barakah. You know, whatever hotel you go to in the Middle East, they have those little stickers that tell you the way to Qibla. It's horrible when you go to somebody's house and you say, what way is Qibla? You shouldn't have to ask. Every room should have a Kaaba. I mean, it can't be that difficult. Can it become a fashion icon? Small businesses, they had something to do with hujjat, right? Maybe somebody can make Kaabas. I don't know. Anyway, okay. 3104. You can't forget this one. Do you remember? She made AM and PM. But you've got a sticker there that says AM and NM, okay? When I asked her to make the stickers, and I wrote it down AM and NM, she said, Mama, I thought you made a mistake. So she made this circle with AM and PM, and she put a clock in the middle, okay? She said, Baba, it's AM and NM. So, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةً يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. There should be someone amongst you who invites you to khair. We have an awesome community. Because every week we have a majlis. And in that majlis, whoever the zakir or zakira is, they will invite you to khair. Sometimes some get a bit overzealous and tell you off, and sometimes they don't. But we need both of them. You know, we need both sides. We need, in Gujarati they say, ek jan tapli mare and ek jan fuk mare, right? Is that what they say? One hits you and one says basi basi, right? It's okay, it doesn't matter. Now, what do? Ya'muruna bil Ma'aruf. Let's try and translate that a little bit because it's quite difficult to understand what that's trying to say, right? So, Amr bil Ma'aruf is basically, Amr is a command. Ma'aruf is commanding to that which you already know is good. If somebody told me, didn't even have to tell me, I sat down and they were talking about someone and I got up, that is called Amr bil Ma'aruf. It's what everybody knows generally that it's wrong. Right? Or that's right, by the way. Amr bil Ma'ruf is telling somebody that's right. You know, in Surah Al-Fatiha, we did Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Agreed? Sirat al-Ladina, Allah's answer, Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim. Follow the path of those whom I have blessed. Past tense. Now what did it say? Ghairil Maghdub. It doesn't say the ones on whom I am angry. It says one on whom there is general anger. And those who are generally lost, human beings, everybody together agrees that this is right or wrong. So Amr bil Ma'ruf is commanding to that which is known to be good. Everybody knows it's good. And Nahi anil Munkar, Nahi is to refuse, is to sort of if I can say take somebody away, it's the opposite. Take them away from something they're doing that is munkar, nakira, that's causing harm. Don't just watch it. Don't just look at it. If somebody even dropped something on the ground here, to be able to pick it up in front of them is nahi anil munkar. We come here on a Saturday morning sometimes, and the place is, you want to cry. That's how bad it is. There's sugar everywhere, there's tea everywhere, there's cups everywhere. This is our home. This is Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi al Munkar. It's not just telling people not to lie and cheat and all the rest of it. That's easy. The difficult bit is to be able to do these small little things. If I was walking down the stairs and I saw a bit of hair, I saw a bit of rubbish, this is my home. I pick it up. I don't wait for the volunteers to come and do it for me. This is what this is about. So invitation to do good, keeping away from bad is just small things. And he's watching, okay? Oh, I love this one. One of my favorite ayat of the Qur'an. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or you who believe. La tattakhidhu bitanatan min dunikum. Don't take bitana friends from other people. You know, bitana comes from batan. Batan is belly. If you Googled belly friends, it shows 2 pregnant women. But a belly friend is somebody who can keep your secrets in their tummy. That's a bitana friend, okay? So don't take bitana friends from people who are not amongst yourselves, who don't understand you. I'm going to talk about it in it. لا يعلونكم خبالا ودوا ما عنتم قد يدت البغضاء من أفواههم وما تخفي صدورهم أكبر قد بينا لكم الآيات إن كنتم تعقلون. You know what? They love what distresses you. And they might not show it, but inside them, it hurts. Now, you might think, you know, we have this thing, not you, maybe me, what I hear. Oh, these are khojas, can't take them as friends. We have to have outside friends. Yet this is telling me, take those from within yourselves. I never understood this until I went to Bosnia. I went to Trollhättan first. So when I went to Trollhättan, the people from Bosnia who had been displaced were all sent to these big warehouses in Trollhättan, right? They were neighbors. You know, this was a former Yugoslavia that had been split up. So you had the Bosnians and the Serbians, but within the Bosnians, they had the Muslims and the non-Muslims. As soon as Yugoslavia split up, and as soon as the soldiers came to take the Muslims, neighbor turned against neighbor, wife turned against husband, children turned against fathers, just to save their own skin. And when you heard their stories, you all know what this is talking about. And one of the people there whom I went to see and I was talking to, her grandfather had always told her, never forget 3118. She didn't know the Quran. She had no idea what the Quran was about, but she said, my grandfather said 3118. And so bitana friends has to be those amongst you, what you call, and I'll call them Ahlul Baytis, because they will think in the same way. They will care for you in the same way. They will keep that in them. They will be a rahmah, because Ahlul Baytis have a rahmah for each other. There's nobody who's come to your funeral, my funeral, except Ahlul Baytis and raise their hand and say, Allah forgive them, I know nothing they did that was bad. Nobody. All these outsiders will come, they'll sit there and they'll say, I pray for you, but not the way the Ahlul Baytis is. I repeat again, bitana friends. So it's not about, have I got a bitana friend? Can I be a bitana friend? Are you good? Yeah, okay. Do you know bitana now? I love it. Okay, next one. Oh, this is again, I don't know which one to say is my favorite. Maybe this one, okay? All right, let's go to it. Oh, by the way, you've got a picture of bitana friends there. Yeah? You got it? That sticker. Now, this is forgiveness. These ayat that come, I know I've only got 3133 here, but we'll put them on for you. Go to 3136. Now, what does he say? Wasari'u. Run, run, run. You know what sari'u means? It's a bit like sa'i. Just run. Run toward ila maghfiratin min rabbikum. Run to the forgiveness of your Rabb. Now, let me go over this thing about maghfirah. Ghifar or maghfir is a hat, a helmet. it kind of protects you against the consequences of your own sins. So the first thing you're going to do when you've got hurt with sin, imagine sin to be something that cuts you. So say it cuts my heart or cuts my soul or whatever. The first thing I want to do is just probably wash it or put a plaster. I might even wash it. I'll just put a plaster on. And then when I go home, I will take it off and I will sort it out. I'll go to hospital and sort it out. Even when you get hurt, you put a quick bandage on and then you go to hospital and they'll open it and they'll do a dressing and they'll do the stitches. That first initial thing is your ghifar. When you start looking into it and you start changing it and you make it better, then you're going into the maghfirah of the heart. But then when you stop doing what you were doing that was wrong, that's tawbah. Okay, it's a little bit. Okay, so sorry, run to the forgiveness or run to the maghfirah of your Rabb. And immediately says, وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. And a Jannah whose expanse is the heavens and the earth, or iddat lil muttaqin. When this ayah was revealed, the Prophet was said, if Jannah is wide as the heaven and the earth, is it really as wide as this? And he said, yes. So they said, then where is the fire? If the person who's asking is saying that if it's so wide, then where is the place for the fire? So he told them that, where is the night when the day comes? And the person didn't have an answer. Okay. Oh, by the way, let me tell you a little about fire because I don't want you to get scared. Bahlul, you know Bahlul, right? So Bahlul came up to Harun Rashid and he said, I went to Jahannam last night. And he said, oh God, now you're really crazy. He said, there was no fire. And he said, Bahlul, Qur'an says Jahannam has fire. What do you mean there was no fire? He said, yeah, I thought so too, no fire. He said, so I went to the angels and I said, hello, Qur'an says Jahannam has fire. There's no fire. He said, we don't have fire. People bring their own fires with them. Okay, no fire. Okay, you good with that, aren't you? Okay. Or iddat lil muttaqin. So he says, this is prepared for who? For those who sin. Who does maghfirah? People who sin. A Jannah is prepared for them. But it tells you who they are. Now it describes them. This is how their description is. They've sinned, but الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. They give, they share. Even if they have a little bit, they share. I wish I could tell you more stories. So they share in good times and in bad times. Whatever little they have. Next thing. وَالْقَاذِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. You know, I'm trying to explain what qadim is because we have an imam whose name is qadim, right? Although qadim means to swallow, in the Arabic language, qadim actually refers to the nasal passage. When you've got a sinus, you know, you're filled in up to there. And your head hurts because you don't know where it goes. Qadim, somebody who is qadim is somebody whose anger is up to here. He's had it up to here, but he will not show it at all. Or she will not show it at all. She's able to contain that anger. وَقَاذِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. So the next thing is they're able to contain their anger. The third thing, وَعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Afina عَنِ النَّاسِ is not just forgive. You say al-af. You forgive, you bury it in the deepest of seas, and you put a sign up, no fishing. You never remind them. These are these people, by the way. Okay, we'll get this Jannah. Okay? 3. The fourth thing. Whenever they do anything they are ashamed of. Fahisha is something you're ashamed of. Whenever. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُم. Oh, they do something that feels bad to their souls. Immediately ذَكَرُوا اللَّهِ. Immediately they think of Allah, فَاسْتَغْفِرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ, and they ask for forgiveness. There is no such thing as I'm past it, I'm really bad, Allah doesn't love me anymore, therefore I'm asking you to do dua for me. You don't have a choice. You're never too far away from Him. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But you can never say, I'm past it. I've done something so bad that He's never ever going to look at me again. This says that what you need to do and what I need to do is anytime you do something wrong, immediately, Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. You know, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, help me. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. All the Asma al-Husna you've got. And then he says, وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And the only person who forgives you, or only one who forgives you is Allah. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. And they will never go back to what they're doing, or they will make an intention of not to go back. Incidentally, I'll go to a story about Al-Af so you don't forget. So there's a man who comes to the Prophet and he says, Ya Rasulullah, have I got some time? You've got some more thiyas going on, right? So he says, Ya Rasulullah, as soon as I accepted Islam and I started believing, everything started going wrong. You know, everything went wrong. Anything that could go wrong, and I've just been crying all the time. And the Prophet said, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, Allah is Al-Af. And he said, I'm telling you, I'm sad, things are going wrong, and you're saying MashaAllah. So the Prophet said, when something is dirty, what do? He said, you wash it. He said, those tears are washing out all that bad in your heart. They're making it all clean, no? That's what's happening. So when things go wrong and when you cry, it's a ni'mah from him. That is why we cry for Hussein, no? Oh, okay. Right. Good. Now these people who sinned, وَصَارِيُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ, who will do that? Those who sin. They will run to forgiveness. أُولَٰئِكَ جَزَاهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. Allah will grant them total forgiveness. And Jannah. وَجَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ. One day we'll talk about Jannah. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا وَالنِّعْمَ أَجْرُ الْعَامِلِينَ. We'll talk about the rivers and what it talks about and all the rest of it when we come to the particular surahs. But at the moment you know that He has promised Jannah for those who sin, provided they have these. 1, they spend. They share, whether they have or not. 2, they don't express their anger. 3, they forgive. And 4, sorry, where were we? 4, whenever they do something wrong, immediately they think about Allah. Are you good? Let me take somebody who's smoking. They know everything about smoking. They know how much damage it does to their lungs. They know everything that's going wrong, but they still smoke. And when you ask them, why are you smoking, what they're going to say? I don't know. Just something I do. Okay, forget smoking. Gossiping. I'm sure none of you gossip, right? Talk about me. So, gossiping. We all know it's wrong, right? We all know that, I don't even go into what happens. So when we gossip, say, why did you gossip? Was talking, right? So we know everything about it. But say while we're gossiping, the person who's gossiping about walks in. What do? Shh, she's calm. Isn't that right? It's exactly what this is saying. The moment I realize I'm doing something wrong, imagine Allah has walked in. I don't even have to imagine, I know He's watching me. You good? Okay, great. 3136. Have you done that? 3147. Okay. I'm supposed to finish this for you today. Don't think I will. Okay. 147, you do hands up. You got 3147 with you? All right. So 3147 is وَمَا كَانَ قَوْلَهُمْ إِلَّا أَنْ قَالُوا. I won't go into the history, but this is a dua that you could use in your kunut. رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا. Oh Allah, hide for us those things that we are ashamed of. وَإِسْرَافَنَا, and where we have been excessive. فِي أَمْرِنَا, in absolutely everything we've been doing. وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا. ثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا means plant our feet. Plant, as in plant into the ground. Make it firm. وَانْصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. Okay, so this is basically talking about a dua that you recite when you're in hardship. You don't want to move away from where you are. Okay. I'm trying to hurry up, by the way. And we did this ayah. Do you remember we did in Baqarah? Do you know which ayah of Baqarah this was? Anybody? We did in Baqarah ayah 154. We said, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ. Do not say of those who have been killed in the way of Allah as dead. I would write 2154 here. Now here he says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ. Don't you even dare think. Don't you even dare assume. He could have said, لَا تَحْسَب, which means don't assume. In the Arabic language, when you say, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ, it means don't even dare have a complete paradigm shift. الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ. Don't even think that they're dead. بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. They are alive. يَرْزُقُونَ. They have been provided rizq. Okay. Now you know these ayah. فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ. You know, farh is overjoyed. It's happiness as a result of blessing. You know, we have an absolute, we have an absolute example in front of us. This is talking about Ashura. This is talking about why we say, Assalamu ala al-Hussein, wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussein, wa ala awlad al-Hussein, wa ala ashab al-Hussein. Go back again, you want to go back? وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ. Don't you dare assume that those who have been killed in the way of Allah are dead. بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ. They are alive. In the Rabbihim, with their Rabb, yurzaqun. Right? And today, what you see in the world is this ayah being so manifested. Nobody's scared. We're scared, sitting here in our comfortable homes. But those to whom it's happening are telling you this. Because they're saying, فَرِهِينَ بِمَا أَتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِ. They're given out of His grace. وَيَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ. يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ is to congratulate each other. They actually congratulate each other. Oh my God, you made it. You got it. You did it, right? مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ أَلَّا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ. They're not scared and they're not sad. How many of you today have watched enough social media to tell you that these children are not scared? These people are not scared. This is the ayah they're living. They're not scared at all. يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. They're congratulating each other because of the favor of Allah. وَفَضْلٍ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. He will never, ever waste even this much of what you do. Okay? Right, 3173. Sorry, I know I'm going a bit fast, but we shall go over them at some point, or you'll be able to go over them if you listen to this again. I'm going to try and finish this if I can. All I needed to do is to look at that last bit. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. That's all I need. That's all I want you to say to you. These people were, if I just go, I'm going to try and quickly go over a little bit of history if I can. I don't know how to cut down on history. But maybe I can tell you, this is talking about, the ayah was revealed when people were told, Abu Sufyan is going to come. When he came with all his people at Uhud. Now they're told they're regrouping. So in Uhud, lots of people were lost. They're told they're regrouping and they're going to come and they're going to attack you. Now you're so weak. You've lost so many people. What happens? If you look a little bit before that, فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانٍ. Their iman was increased. They weren't scared. Again, what you see today, the iman is increased. It's not like us. And all they say is, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Imam Sadiq says, I am amazed at our Shias. Why would they be worried in life if they have these 4 du'as? To overcome the fear of authority is 40:44, and you read it in the morning. وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. If you're worried about your sad and your suffering, La ilaha illa ant subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. If you want rizq, then mashallah la quwwata illa billah. But the ayah we're talking about is your needs. Whenever you have a need, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. He's enough for me. He will sort it out. You do your best and then say, Hasbunallahu. Today, just do a whole tasbih. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. It's Thursday night, no? It's an amazing time to do tasbih. Okay, 3185. Very simple, just the first bit. Kullu nafsin zaikatul maut. Now, it doesn't literally tell you, as the ayah says, every soul shall taste this. Allah, la, la, la. What it's trying to say is, kullu nafsin, every nafs. Now, the word za'ika is that every soul continuously tastes death. See, every single, otherwise you would have said, satadhuqu. Sa, is future, right? It would say, kullu nafsin satadhuqul maut. It doesn't. It doesn't say every soul will taste death at some stage. It's saying every soul is already tasting death. So every breath, every moment, everything, we're losing it. When did you potty train your toddler? And now what happened? And you thought they'd never be potty trained. No? Can you imagine your 16-year-old wearing diapers? No? Okay. I rest my case. So you're facing the death of a child. When that child loved you so much, they couldn't do without you. And now they say, Mama, oh God, you're so annoying. Okay. No, they don't tell you that. I'm talking about me. So are you good with that? And that literally comes to the end of Sura Aali Imraan. I can't do Surah An-Nisa today, but all I can tell you about Surah An-Nisa, just a little bit about Surah An-Nisa, is we talked about Muslim identity. Now, Surah An-Nisa talks about how you manifest that identity. It's all too well being someone, but now how does it appear in society? So Surah An-Nisa is all about a manifestation of your identity, how it will come out. Inshallah, we'll do this the week after next. Next week I go because I go back to Mom's annual majlis. So Mom died in 2016. Every year at the anniversary of her death, we go to the Qabristan and we do a majlis, and all the siblings get together. So I won't be here, and she wanted me to do it on Zoom, but I land at 9 o'clock, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. So what I'm going to do is put yourself on the WhatsApp group. I'm going to give you a open book test. An open book test means you can refer to whatever you want, but the test will be on there. You can do it. You can mark it yourself, or when I come back, we will go over it a little bit. And I'm hoping that you won't look at anything. You can if you want. That's why it's called open book. I mean, it's not about getting 100%, because I'm not giving any badges or trophies out, okay? But at least you know, and I know, how much we as in each other, we know. So I'll put that test on the WhatsApp group. You can join the WhatsApp group, and it'll be on there. Are you all right with that? Right. I haven't forgotten Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. I tell the children this: close your eyes, give the thawabs to all the marhumin, especially those of your family. Pray for those who are ill and those who are in trouble throughout the world. Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, I'll see you in 2 weeks.